Hello, my name is Nicole Laswell. Call myself the Inner Peace Broker. I also have a handle on Instagram, Parenting Autism, Heaven on Earth. Today I will be continuing putting on video all the blog posts I've written on my website, NicoleLaswell.com. This is the 5th video, and it's on insurance coverage, suggestions for you, and a little bit about a personal story. So the therapies that we signed up for, that we felt were the best ones, that we knew were proven to help children, that were evidence-based to improve the symptoms in children that have autism. So this does not cure autism. There is no cure for autism, but it definitely improves the ability for the children to communicate, to navigate their bodies in the world. So we went with ABA, Applied Behavioral Analysis Therapy, Speech Therapy, and Occupational Therapy. How it all started was, it was, again, very interesting every time I talk about this, because it's interesting how everything in life, if you pay attention, it unfolds in a very mysterious way. For us, we got the diagnosis through the school. Then all of a sudden, I mentioned this to a friend of mine that attended yoga at the same place I did, and she told me about this place that at the time I was too overwhelmed to pay attention to, but she said it was amazing, and they offered so many things to her grandson who was doing so well. And so I was like, thank you, and I kind of ignored it. And then we went to, when we were getting the medical diagnosis, there was a mother there with a 7-year-old son who did not seem to me to have anything. He was on the spectrum, and she gave me the name and the phone number of the director of the same school that my friend had already mentioned at the yoga studio. I was like, oh, thanks again. Still kind of overwhelmed, not ready for it. And then finally, when we go see the doctor, the developmental pediatrician, at the end, he recommends the same exact place. So we're like, okay, let's check it out. And it turns out to be fantastic. This place was, it was all about group. You had 5 children that were on the autism spectrum with 10 normally or neurotypical children, is what we call normally developing children. And so it was great because they were being in a socialized environment with a bunch of other kids that were normally developing. So they could kind of copy and mimic the behaviors we were hoping to introduce them to, so they could have, again, better ability to communicate with the world at large. So and each classroom had, like, I'm trying to remember, I think it was 3 or 4 teachers. You had therapists. They would put the children out. They would do ABA in group setting and individual setting. It was amazing. And Willie was doing great. And then we found out through them where we were supposed to, we should have looked at Stevie, and it turns out through them we were able to, also diagnosed with the doctor alongside autism as well. So they were wonderful for our family. But at the time, insurance did not cover, or they were out of network for us. That place cost, at the time, about $60,000 a year per child. As you can see, this is not something we could afford long term, but we were willing to throw money at this because we knew it was working. And we weren't just throwing money, we were throwing ourselves into it, because they were so amazing that they taught all the parents ABA therapy and how to do it at home, and they were testing us. And like I said in my previous video, they were really wonderful at being supportive, not just taking care of the child 9 to 4 every day, Monday through Friday, and doing the therapies and everything. They were making sure to be of support for us at home. It was very hard for me when we got to the point financially where we couldn't do it anymore. And again, the universe, as big as it is, sent us somebody else. We met this mother and daughter team. The daughter was 17 on the spectrum, and they gave a talk at the university where I taught. And I fell in love with them immediately. The 17-year-old daughter, who's autistic, on the autism spectrum, was amazing. She talked about all her struggles, but she was speaking, and it really brought tears to our eyes we needed to check this place out. Turns out, she tells me so the mother-daughter team opened up this place called Pediaplex, and her idea, the mom's idea, was a one-stop shop. Everything available to you, so you didn't have to run around looking for ABA therapist, speech therapist, occupational therapist. She's done an amazing job with this place, by the way. I highly recommend Pediaplex to anybody and everybody, because at least the experience we had still have. They're like family now. But what I wanted to say was that they were in network, but at the time I was very scared. I was emotionally unprepared to change the boys from how they were doing at this one space and moving over to a new one that I had no clue if they were going to do well or not. But of course, you just trust. And again, the finances was just not allowing it. We had to move. And this place was just fantastic. It was the best move we could have done. Will's he just improved dramatically. He needed the one-on-one, and we didn't even know that he needed that much more one-on-one than just the group. At the other place, he was getting the one-on-one, but not intensive like we did in this new place. And they basically helped potty train both of them. It was just amazing. So it was really neat to be able to let go of my need to control the situation. And then I was presented with these opportunities of a different place of therapy that was in network, and it did receive coverage. That's our story. All of that to say, each story is going to be very different. The insurance coverage varies wildly according to state and whether your employer is fully funded or self-funded. If it's fully funded, it depends on what program they decided to buy. And again, for example, my university, wonderful place to be at. They did a great job of finding coverage, but there's only so much that they can spend. It's unbelievable how the insurance companies work. Once you start going down this rabbit hole, you'll find out that it's a lot of money to insure all of your employees. And if those employees have pre-existing conditions that require them to go see the doctor many times, that makes the premiums for the company go higher, which is why your premiums go higher. It is crazy. The point is this: to get any kind of help, medical help, it's going to be expensive. So what I try to tell people is do your homework. Find out if you have an HMO or a PPO. PPOs are much better in terms of ABA therapy and what's covered and what's not. HMOs, you have less doctors that you can actually go to. The coverage is smaller and it's a little spotty. For us, for example, we made too much money to qualify for certain things like Medicaid. And yeah, it gets really complicated, and unfortunately, I don't have all the lingo for all of that because, again, we didn't qualify for any of that at the time. So this is where I say I highly recommend do your homework. I'm going to continue doing mine. I found out there's this wonderful lady I met the other day, and she's a medical insurance agent, and I have a feeling we're going to be able to figure something out where we can just get more information to send to people. But on my website, on the blog I wrote, I added the autismspeaks.org links, and in there you'll see what insurance companies must cover according to state. The one that I have there, I think, is just to Texas because that's where we live. But it's really get clear on what it is your child needs, how much help he or she needs, what you're willing to financially give up. Just to give you an idea, we actually ended up selling our home and moving into a 2-bedroom apartment because financially we couldn't handle all of that. And we'd rather take care of the boys and give them what they needed now to prepare them for the rest of their lives than not. Was it easy? Absolutely not. Was it worth it? Absolutely yes. It has made our family much closer. We listen to each other. I think, honestly, it's what's helped me as a person and as a mother and as wife to develop better skills on how to just be a better person and then create all of this, because I know how scary it feels at the beginning. So I hope this is not too my hope is not to overwhelm you. My hope is to give you information, and then you make your choices. But number one is just make sure what your insurance company's, what your insurance company covers, how much you actually need for your child, and then what are you willing to go through to help your child? Which means what I always tell everybody, and this is why I went into the whole inner peace broker thing, is you need to be peaceful first in order to then go through with this. So if you're already feeling upset about money and insurance and how we're going to do this, take a step back, take a deep breath, and then figure out what you can with your clear mind. This is what we're going to do. This is the plan we have in store. But then let it be. If you're getting too overwhelmed, just stop, drop, go breathe, go sleep, whatever it is that you need to do, and then come back to it. Don't do it while you're exhausted, and then ask for help. There's a lot of people out there now, a lot of resources. We're lucky that these boys, blessed that these boys are born where they were born, because there's so much out there. What I feel like is missing is the parents. It's really about the parent. If we're okay, they're okay. I can't say that enough. So the whole idea of heaven on earth, I know it triggers some people left and right, but the point is that you can create that. That is absolutely possible for you. You just have to decide, you know what, this is hard, but it doesn't have to kill us. We can move on and we can find the resources. You just have to have your heart in the right space, your mind in the right space, and then everything else is gravy. It'll work out. I hope this helps for now. I will have another video for you next week. It's on the next blog post. If you have any questions, please go ahead and use my contact page at my website, NicoleLaswell.com. And yeah, I look forward to meeting you in person someday. I send you all my love and light. Pray for all of you to find some peace in this process. I know you will. You just have to stay on it. Keep on keeping on. All is well. Bye, guys. Have a great day.